It's January 2024. We maybe should have done this video last year, but we've been working on this and we're talking about it today. Goals. Who here feels threatened or a little anxious when they hear about goal setting and planning out your year? Well, I do still a little bit, but I definitely did for many, many years until I learned a little bit more about the power of goal setting, as well as the realization of what you can accomplish when you're a little bit more intentional about what you're doing day to day, year to year, week to week, month to month, so on and so forth. So, admittedly, I always had like goals in my head, like I thought, oh, it'd be cool to do this, or it'd be cool to make this amount of money, or it'd be cool to do this many loans, or I'd love to flip, X amount of houses in a year. But up until maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I really never wrote them down. And I think I was afraid that if I wrote them down and I didn't accomplish them, that it would be some sort of a failure. And so honestly, it took learning from other people and being in different coaching groups where I could see the results and almost really be forced to do them. When I first started Strategic Coach, we do 90-day planning, year planning, 5-year planning, lifetime planning. And I could start seeing that when I started writing stuff down, maybe I wasn't intentional as I hope I am being more today, but magically things would happen. And I'd look back and I'd be like, holy cow, we accomplished that. And I think there's some magic in writing it down and reviewing it on a consistent basis. And whether you're really good at scheduling it and planning it, magically your brain kind of wants to like get the result that you put on paper, and you end up behaving and acting in a way throughout the week and throughout your days that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. So, and I'm still like a rookie at this, but I'm enjoying it a lot more because what is it that we want? We want results. And the results that we want are our dreams and our vision and our business plan. And when we are more strategic about thinking about our goals and writing them down and then ultimately implementing them, hopefully we get the results that we want. If we don't have a target, we're going to be really crappy at shooting, So why do we set them? Like I just said, at least for me anyway, I set them because there's things that I think would be awesome if we could accomplish, and it would be beneficial either from a monetary standpoint of view, or it'd be really cool to accomplish because it's maybe a little bit of a puzzle that you want to solve, or it will be good for you. And maybe for your health or for your personal fitness or for your personal development or for your learning. And if you don't write those down and have a plan on how to get there, odds are you're not going to get there in the same way or as quick as you would, or maybe you wouldn't even get there at all. So as I look at goal planning, we've done a couple of things. And this year I would say was our best year of goal planning for 2024 than we've ever done. But before we started 2024 goal planning, in December of 2023, we looked back at what we said we were going to do in 2023. So we kind of did like a post-mortem, like what worked, what didn't, what we were doing that maybe didn't serve us very well, what should we do different? So kind of an analysis of like what worked, what didn't, at what point in the year did we drop the ball or lose momentum, where did we get distracted? And not with a sense of being critical, but also with a positive focus. There's a book called Gap in the Gain, or a concept that Dan Sullivan in Strategic Coach talks about where, yeah, you're always wanting to go and measure your gain, but sometimes you focus on the gap of like maybe what you didn't get done instead of focusing on all the gain that you did to get there. And so we look at the gain, like what did we get to? And then of course you can be a little critical and say, okay, well, where do we have room for improvement? And so this year, what we did in 2024 is over the course of about 4 weeks in December, we had many little 2-hour jam sessions where we looked back and then we analyzed and said, okay, well, what is it that we want to accomplish in 2024? Are those things important to us? If we do those things, will they get us the results that we're looking for? And are we excited about doing them? Do we have the capabilities to do them? Do we have the team to do them? And so, and then we transition from there into reverse engineering that vision or that dream, breaking it down into steps that we could look to accomplish, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis with regular check-ins to see if we're on track. I decided that I have 6 buckets. There's 4 what I consider to be income producing buckets, either for today's dollars or future dollars. And then 2 buckets that I think are there to support the ability to accomplish those 4 buckets. So let me explain. My number one priority, as far as my 4 financial buckets, is the hard money loan business. So my ability to offer loans to borrowers and raise money from investors to keep that machine churning. I really like it, and it's very important to me, and it does bring good results for all parties involved. So we're excited about that one, and we're doing it, and we're making it a priority. Bucket number 2 would be the flipping and development bucket. So that's going to stay for 2024. Bucket number 3 is the brokerage, Conrad, Cruz Real Estate Brokerage. I debated in 2023 whether I should keep it going, but after doing our postmortem and doing some coaching on it, I decided we're going to keep that going in 2024 and probably beyond. And the 4th financial bucket would be returns. Hopefully what will be passive returns later, meaning how do we want to buy more rentals? Should we invest in other things? Should we improve our life insurance policies? Stuff like that. And then the other 2 buckets that would support these 4 buckets, as I see it, is like social media, YouTube, like how do I reach people and provide value that way that then can support the ability to do the other 4 buckets. And then the 6th one, which might actually end up being the most important bucket, is personal development. So for business-wise, that would be I renewed for my strategic coach membership in 2024. So that'll be 4 in-person workshops each year with definitely a lot of support in between there. The other bucket is I renewed my Genius Network membership. I love that group. That one will be up to 9 2-day meetings a year, plus all the proactive networking I can do with members in the group. And there's a ton of amazing people that I can learn from, and hopefully I can add value to some of them. And then the other things, I also have a business coach that I meet with once a month to just kind of help check in and see if I'm on track. And they're really good at calling me out on if I'm being lazy on something, or also supporting me in different things. And then also like things like fitness, eating, sleep. And I also think it's part of personal development that I need to get better at. And 2023 was a lot better for me. But like when I actually take time off, that I'm taking time off and not worrying about work, because hopefully by focusing on all the other buckets and having good team members and leverage with other people, things can keep moving while you're away. So those are my 6 buckets. We set intentions. And then what we did is, I'm a big fan of Jesse Itzler. So you guys, some of you probably recognize this. He has this big calendar that he likes to use. And I thought it would be a good visual representation. So what we did is so all these buckets, we have different color codes and different specific goals that we're trying to accomplish. And we didn't quite yet book out the entire year. What we're doing is just January for now. This is how we're implementing it. And then here in a minute, I'll give you some specifics of what we're doing for 2 of those buckets. But like I've laid out in these green ones, when I'm going to Genius, when I'm going to Strategic Coach, so I can visually kind of see. They're on my personal calendar as well. But so I can kind of see, like, it's nice to know when you're going to things so you can kind of prep ahead of time. And then the other color codes we have on there for the different buckets that we're specifically working on this month. Now, we're always working on all of them, but we had and I'll share some examples here in a minute of some specific projects inside of each one of these buckets that we maybe didn't do as good of a job of in 2023 that I want to get better in 2024. So if you don't schedule it and plan it, it's probably not going to happen. And for me, it becomes like a game. It's like, well, I want to complete that puzzle. And when I can kind of see the puzzle, it's a lot easier for me to get motivated to do it, especially in those moments where you feel like there's no fires burning, all the reactive stuff you're doing for the day, like, but you maybe have an afternoon where you'd like to be productive, but you're kind of like, well, I don't really have anyone calling and bugging me to do anything. It's those moments where I struggle, where it's like, yeah, but I know I have a goal to do something, but I don't want to start it. But if I can look and see in my office, no, you agreed to do this and it is good for you. So like that's already happened this week for me, where I'm like, I'm going to tap out. And it's like, no, I could take an hour and do this one thing. and then it creates momentum, to do the next thing. So to review, we had a vision of where we wanted to go and why we wanted to go there. And for me, I looked at it as far as like, this is my vision of what these 6 buckets will look like at the end of 2024. Then we reverse engineered it and we said, okay, if we want to accomplish this, then what we need to do is we need to maybe, for example, on flips, we need to be offering, 6 times a week or whatever the number is on properties. And in order to do that, what's our system and process to offering? So let's go back and relook at, like, do we have our contracts pre-filled out so that we can easily make offers? Do we know who the sellers are that we can make offers for? Do we have our hot sheets on the MLS set up so that we can quickly identify what a deal is? Do we have our deal evaluation calculator right there handy so we can quickly plug in the numbers? Do we know what the rehab number estimates are going to be? So what we've decided to do is break down, yeah, we have a number goal, but more break down what is our system and process to do it so that we have the least amount of resistance and motivation for when it's time to do it. And then I think we'll be able to do the little things that will add up to be a lot of big things, and it won't be overwhelming. So then the other one is we map it out and we plan it. And not only just plan it, but schedule it. And I would say the fourth thing is we really got to believe that it's possible. And we got to be reminded sometimes, because we're going to lose motivation, that it is what we want and it is going to be good. And then also the fourth thing is we're having end of the month accountability calls where we kind of recap the month. We'll have maybe a little bit of a cheerleading session. One of us is going to lead maybe one personal development or, new tip or trick that we learned that month. So it's going to be a pre and post at the end of the month recap, a little bit of a celebration of what's going on. And then the other thing that we're aware of is, maybe we get through the year and some of the goals that we set, just for market conditions or whatever, we need to adjust them. So you also need to be a little bit malleable and adaptable to what might be going on. So that would be the summary. That's kind of the vision for how we laid it out. This is in my office. And the key things that I do day to day, I transfer to my Google Calendar. But it's just a good reminder of what we're working on and why we're doing it and how we're going to get there and how we're going to motivate and keep each other accountable. So there's 2 specific, I guess, examples of the buckets I wanted to share really quick and why they make sense to me. But take, for example, social media. I really struggle with social media because I don't actually like it, and you're probably watching it on social media, so I appreciate. But I struggle with sometimes like, well, why am I even posting anything? I don't, but so for me, I've determined for social media in 2023, I have 2 amazing assistants, Maria, who's local, and then Paula, who lives in Argentina. And Paula is the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok expert. And what she does is, after Maria and I sit down, the other thing that I do is, I know if I'm having to videotape it and do all of this, I would never do one video. Maybe I do one, but it takes a lot of work and effort to get these cut up and everything. But our system and process for social media is, Maria and I will sit down, we'll plan out kind of what we generally want to do and why we want to do it. So like today's video, for example, then I don't even touch the camera. The most effort I do is talk and have Maria remind me about 25 times that we're doing a video, because I'm still a little resistant to do them. And then from here, we send it to Paula. But before we send it to Paula, we've already had a meeting with Paula where we map out the cadence, the frequency, kind of the style design that she's going to post. And so all my videos, I've given Paula and Maria the logins to my social media, and they cut it up, paste it, with my approval, I guess. But I also give them a lot of just go for it, and they post it. So for me, as the one doing it, it's really me, right? But I am not cutting and pasting and whatever, posting this stuff. Paula, and Maria are really doing all of it. So thank you to them. Otherwise, this would not be possible. So I appreciate you guys watching as well. But then as far as the bucket, as far as what we're doing this month is, one thing I want to do better in 2024 is I at some point I want to provide value. Whatever little tips and tricks I've learned, I guess it's my way of giving back. But if there is a selfish motive, I don't think I've ever been really good at traditional marketing, like sending out mailers or something like that. This is also my way of saying like, hey, I'm still here. I'm open for business. We're doing hard money loans. We're always looking for investors. We're looking for borrowers that we can serve. We feel like we have a really good product. So, my way of saying, hey, I'm open for business is this is what I've learned doing real estate. If it's helpful to you, then please use it because, so we're open for business. And then also, I'm going to probably try to mix in a little bit more call to action. I really like some of the people on social media that use it in a positive way, like, hey, I'm looking for a deal, or hey, I'm looking for investors on this deal, because that can be really powerful. I don't want it to be fake. I don't want it to be inauthentic. I don't want to pitch anything unnecessarily, but I also really sometimes like maybe there's opportunities that I have access to that if I just spoke up a little bit more, they actually could be beneficial to a lot of people. Just like I've seen when people have pitched something, not in a negative way, but it's like, hey, you should join this or you should look at this deal. I'm really grateful if they did because I maybe wouldn't have seen about it any other way. So in order to do that, that's the results that we want. I'm committing to keeping and training up with Marie and Paula this year and looking for feedback and being a little bit more intentional, I guess, in why I'm doing social media, even though, there's arguments could be made that social media is terrible. So I guess if you find me to be positive, keep following me, but all the negative stuff, don't follow news or any of that nonsense, because that stuff's a death trap, I think, mentally. So anyway, that's social media. That's one example. And so what we did in January, and this will be the case the whole year because we need to keep it going consistently. We're going to have monthly meetings about what worked, what didn't, maybe what new content. My goal is to do maybe 3 of these kind of videos a month, plus a couple videos with someone else so we can learn from other people in my network. The other bucket this month is Conrad Cruz, the brokerage. In 2023, I kind of considered just shutting it down because I didn't really know why I have it. I mean, I really like having my license in brokerage so I can facilitate my own deals, but I don't really have any grand intentions of growing it to be some powerhouse brokerage. My brokerage is the type of like, I'll keep $500. Everyone else, my agents keep their commission. I don't have like a grand office for anybody. We don't have insurance. I kind of tell people, just don't get in trouble, be moral, ethical, and legal. Keep track of your files. If you need help with something, let me know. Otherwise, I'll commit to get you paid your commission ASAP. Keep doing deals. I don't want to create a lot of friction or red tape. And I'm only looking to keep $500 on every deal, no matter what the commission size is. But there is still little things that we realized at the end of 2023 that we can improve. Like when I bring on a new agent, I'm always recreating like, well, this is what you need to do. This is who you need to talk to. Here's my license number. This is who you need to call. And then when there's a commission that gets paid, I don't really have a great process that's been established with the title company of like, okay, send me this is how you send the money. And then with my agents to distribute the money or file retention. Pretty much brokerage 101, right? I mean, it is the best brokerage around, but we've been a little loose. So things that we're working on this month in January that we've identified here is just having better systems and processes, having a one-page kind of tear sheet that any new agent can come and have all the info that they need to join the brokerage, the branding, the logos, the fonts, the colors, sign off on the procedures and rules and the ethics or whatever that need to be done, like everything. So it's just kind of turnkey a little bit. And then some different processes and systems with title companies as far as issuing commission checks, and then the automatic splits that will go to my agents so that it's less friction for them. It's less friction for me, so that we can all maybe scale and grow and not have to deal with the administrative stuff on a day-to-day basis. So I think we're going to knock that goal out in January. And then who knows, maybe we'll set a new goal to grow it a little bit bigger, maybe buy a building. I don't know what it will be, but I do like having the brokerage, again, to control my own deals. But then also, I think I have like 22 agents and they're all really awesome people. So at some point, maybe I have a grander vision of, my own little bigger network or something like that. But really, probably what I need to do is have someone else be the principal broker and just kind of support that. But one day I'll do a video. Maybe I've already done it on how I came up with the name Conrad Cruz Real Estate Brokerage. But he's kind of my alter personality. He's a made up character, but I think the name's really cool. So if you ever hear Conrad calling you, you better answer the phone. So anyway, those are two specific examples of the 6 buckets that we're working on in 2024 and our goals. And so hopefully you guys all have big dreams and visions, and you're working on a way to reverse engineer those and take those daily steps. You know, it's that analogy of you want to get to the top of the stadium or whatever it is, the top of the staircase. You can only take one step at a time, right? And so that's what we're trying to do to get there to the end. All right, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.